But of course we begin tonight in a sleepless Britain where throughout a long, long night the Conservatives saw the overall parliamentary majority they had and could have had until 2020 being whittled away. Theresa May called the snap election to consolidate Tory ascendancy. She didn't. Votes are still being counted. The final makeup of Parliament isn't yet known, but the Conservatives can't now regain their overall majority. That requires 326 seats. The Tories had 330 seats. They've lost 12 of them at last count so far, which means 318 is the best they can achieve. Labour has gained somewhere in the region of 30. I haven't looked for a couple of minutes. As we speak, the UK Parliament is hung. We cross now live to our correspondent Dan Ashby. Dan, what a night, what a morning, what is happening?
Time. It was one of those jaw-dropping moments in UK politics. Everybody was expecting the Conservatives to get a landslide majority to strengthen their hand, and suddenly we're hearing about a hung parliament for the first time. The Labour Party has done fantastically well over the past 6 weeks. They've whittled away the Conservative poll leads. They now look set to gain 30 seats, but as you say, that means we look on course for a hung parliament. Remember, this isn't supposed to happen in the UK. The parliamentary system is set up for a strong government, first past the post, so that there aren't coalitions. But yet again, no party has overall control.
No, of course the Tories had overall control, didn't they? They had 330 seats. So by a very small number of seats in overall majority, May believed that she would increase that majority and really smash Labour for the foreseeable future. It was a calculated gamble and it has misfired badly. Will it cost her her leadership?
Yes, she's looking in a very shaky position at the moment. As you say, it was a gamble. And it was a terrible election campaign as well. Crucially, she didn't turn up for an election debate here in the UK. That appears to have backfired now. She is now in talks with the Conservative Party, but already we're seeing Conservative MPs calling this a dreadful campaign. Different politicians across the spectrum calling for her to go. Of course, the opposition leader, Jeremy Corbyn, said long ago that she should resign. The former leader of UKIP has done the same, but even her own MPs now are making similar noises. She will be going into those talks, but of course, at best, the Conservative Party will have to try form a coalition with a working majority, or they will have a minority government. That is most likely going to lead to another election, and looking at the performance that she's had over the past 6 weeks, you can't see how the Conservatives will want to back her again in a second election.
No, let's talk about Jeremy Corbyn. Gosh, his own party hated his guts. Well, actually, it was the party that liked him. It was the Labour establishment that really actively disliked him and simply couldn't conceal it. They must be eating humble pie in huge doses today. But what did he do right?
Well, it's an extraordinary story, isn't it? I mean, this is a man who was a backbencher all his life, no ministerial experience, a political unknown. And as you say, look back a year ago and the Labour Party was in civil war. You had mass resignations from the shadow cabinets. You had people calling for votes of no confidence against him. And he just kept on and kept on. And when the Labour Party was in doubt, he went to the public and they voted him back in as leader. Now he's obviously gone into this election and people said he would never convince the British public. He may be able to convince Labour voters, but not the British public. And he seems to have done exactly that. He's increased the Labour amount of seats. Now, having said all that, he of course hasn't won the election. Labour isn't the largest party, but even so, he's defied all expectations, considering everybody thought that Labour would be completely demolished.
Striking to see also that in the South, I mean, this is a very strong backlash against a number of things. As you say, May had a very, very poor campaign. There was a sense the Tories were really arrogant going to the country 3 years before they had to, and also this is a backlash against Brexit. So there's a whole lot of subtext here. But the really interesting thing is Labour still only have 258 seats as it stands. The Tories have 307. It's entirely probable, isn't it, that they will still form the next government?
Exactly, yeah, very likely indeed, because when you look at the opposition position to try form a coalition. That doesn't look likely at all. Labour would have to approach the Liberal Democrats and the Scottish Nationalists and perhaps others as well to form a coalition. And of course that's unlikely because the Liberal Democrats formed a coalition in 2010, got stung really badly by it, lost a lot of their seats, and they've said all along they're not going back into a coalition. So it very much looks like the Conservatives are still in the driving seat, but that doesn't mean they've got that much stability. They'd have to approach the DUP in Northern Ireland. There's a lot of policy differences there, and they may have to just simply go for a minority government. Of course, what that means is relying on the goodwill or cooperation of other parties who might not agree with them going forward.
Dan Ashby looking in rude good health for a man who's been up all night. Thank you so much for joining us, Dan. What a fascinating night it has been in the UK.